The Newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The Senate approves on final reading the proposed 5.77 trillion peso national spending plan for next year. 21 senators voted in favor of the 2024 General Appropriations Bill, which is 9.5% higher than this year's budget. Only Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel abstained from voting due to concerns with the President's move to certify it as urgent. Pimentel says there was no emergency or calamity to justify the use of a presidential certification for the budget. Senator Sonny Angara, who chairs the Finance Committee, said the senator's version would significantly increase the allocations for agencies concerned with national security. That includes the Defense Department, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Philippine Coast Guard. Angara made no mention of augmentations to the confidential and intelligence funds of state agencies. Following the Senate's approval, the bill will be discussed in a bicameral conference to reconcile the upper and lower chambers' versions. Once ratified, the spending plan will be sent to Malacanang for the President's signature. Finance Chief Ben Jokno expects the President to sign the 2024 national budget before Marcos Jr. flies to Japan on December 16. The Philippines is unlikely to hit its growth target of 6 to 7% this year, as economic activity may slow in the fourth quarter, according to the Bank of America Global Research. BOFA Global Research raised its Philippine GDP growth forecast to 5.4% this year from 4.8% previously. If realized, this would still be lower than the 7.6% growth recorded in 2022. The economy will need to grow by 7.2% year-on-year in the fourth quarter to reach the low end of the government's target. Meanwhile, the Finance Department says rising food prices, a stronger than expected El Nino, sluggish local government spending, and high interest rates are among the domestic threats to the country's growth for next year. Finance Chief Benjamin Jokno said the government will rigorously implement government spending catch-up plans in the last quarter of 2023. They also hope to avoid underspending in the first semester of 2024 through efficient budget execution. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Let's now take a quick look at some corporate headlines we are watching. The Asian Development Bank has recommended extending the bid submission deadline for the rehabilitation of the NAIA until January next year. The ADB said the proposal is meant to give potential bidders more time to prepare and submit their bids, which would result in, quote, more competition and a better financial outcome for the Philippine government. Union Bank of the Philippines is infusing an additional 1.8 billion peso capital to support the ongoing business operations and sustain the expansion of its digital banking arm. The additional capital infusion was approved by the Board of Directors of the Aboitiz-led bank last November 24. Ramon Ang-led San Miguel Corporation makes it to the top 50 in this year's World's Best Employers list issued by Forbes magazine and research company Statista. SMC ranked 43rd, climbing 131 spots from last year. Other Philippine companies included in this year's rankings are Security Bank, Metro Bank, and Ayala Corporation, among others. The ASEAN Plus 3 Macroeconomic Research Office, or AMRO, says the Maharlika Investment Fund must address governance issues and the possible threat to fiscal stability. In its report, AMRO acknowledges the MIF's potential to be a successfully managed national investment fund. However, AMRO says this would depend on the actual implementation of the law. The group also cites the need for a robust risk management framework to ensure the fund's success. AMRO adds that the MIF is more of a national investment fund as it aims to invest, quote, mainly within the country to support national development strategies. The group says the fund is expected to enhance investment capital to boost economic growth, promote infrastructure development, and attract foreign investment. AMRO also notes potential risks with the operations of the fund. The group says authorities should clearly define its role in infrastructure investment with appropriate governance stipulated to avoid misuse of funds. And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.